Boys and girls, Doug Giles here. It's Warriors, Rich.
And Wildmen, what's happening, Doug?
Hey, buddy, good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, I was over on the gram. It's Instagram. Are you familiar with this application?
I've been on Instagram before.
Yeah, so most of it's crap, but aside from my page and your page, of course. But the old man says, Rich, is full of yumminess. I don't know if the guy's even old. I don't know if it's frickin' Chat GPT, but it's got some gold over there, man. And I want to toss this into your corner and see if you can knock it out of the park and add to it. Because again, I think this cat, whoever it is, could be a chick, could be some lesbian with a mustache, smoking Camel, no filters, just cranking out content. I don't know, but again, they do have some great advice. It says looking better, and this is for the youngins. Now remember, listener, this is what the old man says to the upstarts. I'm talking about the next generation. The old man says looking better at 31 than you did at 22 is exactly the flex that you think it is. Always, Rich, always be ascending, young men.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, we should look better at 31 than at 21 or 22 or whatever it's talking about. Um, Hopefully you're sharper and smarter. I don't know about you, but I got some photos of me when I was 22 and I look like an idiot. So that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I think the time frame where I looked the stupidest was my second senior year in high school when I was really going hard after the mullet and the punk rock type clothing and stuff. And then I would say, Rich, the next phase where I look like the biggest dumbass on the planet, and I'm so thankful that social media wasn't around back then, was when I really started uh, uh, becoming a fancy preacher and, dyeing my hair and wearing lime green suits and just, oh my God, dude, so that was my early 30s and I look like a total jack. And again, I thank God. I mean, I was healthy, but as far as aesthetics, how can I put this? I had a weird uh, uh, blueprint that I was fobbing off of, and I never do that again. But again, he's talking about turning these young guys. It's like, listen, man, when you're 31, when you're 10 years older than you are now, 22-year-old, you should be looking better, should be more solid, more sharp, more smart. But dude, I'm telling you, with the advent of Facebook and stuff and seeing my buddies catch up with me 30 years later, they didn't get this memo. They didn't. And, I see them again in my late 40s, early 50s. I didn't even recognize some of them, man. I had no idea who they were. They're like, hey, we went to school with you. It's like, first of all, my brain's clogged with, bong resin. And second, I don't even recognize who you are. And it's
Mm.
just because they just said to hell with it. And they just turned into this amorphous, gelatinous blob of weird gray hair and goatees.
Well, that's a funny thing is that I'll be 58 this year. In a couple months, I'll be 58. And I look 58. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't really care. But somebody told me the other day, actually, they were talking to Annie after I left, and they said, how old is your husband? And she said, well, he's going to be 58. And he said, is he really? And he said, this is what he said. He didn't say, wow, he looks 40. He didn't say that. And he's using the language that he knows how to use, but he said his aura, like about him, his person, is so much younger. And he's talking about, he's talking, you know, life force, energy, excitement. Like people let themselves think about being old and then they act old. Some things you can't control your genetics. Obviously, we're going to talk about some other things that you can control, but some things you're going to look how you're going to look, right? And at some point, we're all going to start looking old. That's the way that it goes. But you can look old and not be old. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be old. My wife is younger than me. A lot of my friends are younger than me. I have friends that are older than me, but I'm not trying to be old. I'm not trying to act old. I'm not trying to lay around and be old.
Yeah. I'm coming up on 64, big dog, and I effed my back up yesterday because I didn't stretch before doing heavy dumbbell rows, and that wasn't smart. So that makes me feel a wee bit aged. But dude, I'm not lying. I feel like I'm the same early 30s type dude. You know, again, the grays here. Look at that mess, and look at that right there, man. And I grew my beard out for 3 weeks. Just shaved it this past Saturday, but totally white. It's like you. I look like a homeless man. May Margaret's like, you can't hide that face. You can't hide that face. And so I shaved that thing off, and boom, I'm new and I'm fresh. And you know, there's a lot of wear and tear. Like a lot of my buddies, they didn't cease and desist from the serious alcohol partying usage, uh, smoking dope, you know. And dude, I'm telling you, man, it crushed them in the latter parts.
Yep.
When they 40s and 50s, they skipped a decade and they look like they were 10 years older. And again, people don't figure, like you said, they don't figure in about aging and what this stuff is going to do to you.
Yeah.
And you get these girls, man, that are partying hard, they're pretty, and then all of a sudden they lose it because they partied too much, and now they look like Iggy Pop, doing cross training, and it's just like you can't get that back. You can't get that back. And so the old man
Yeah.
is
And
just like,
like with me, I had been on diets and off diets and working out and not working out and back and forth for all these years. And earlier this year, I did 90-day reset and a metabolic reset and lost 38 pounds. But it wasn't even the weight loss; it was everything. Like my whole body reset. And being in Bali, and then I not only in Bali, but I traveled to Vietnam for 2 weeks. And I was in Philippines for 2 weeks. So eating on my regular diet and my schedule wasn't going to work. That just wasn't real life at that time or on those trips. And so on my time over here, almost 3 months, I've gained 11 pounds, but I, I'm good with it. Like it's not a big deal because I know as soon as I get back home, I'm going to gorge myself on Mexican food because I haven't had any in 3 months. And I think the Lord wants me to do that. But after a couple of days of that, I'm going to be right back on my reset. I can drop those 11 pounds literally in 2 weeks. I'll be able to drop it because I reset my health. And the reality is it's so hard to serve God when your body is breaking down. It's tough enough when you get sick, and sometimes we can control that, sometimes we can't. But health-wise, man, we need to be doing the things that make us healthy, make our mind sharp, so that we can not only serve God, but we can work and support our family, and we can be with our family, and do things and not just be some exhausted person sitting on the couch acting like they're old. I just did training and diving the other day for DPV, which is a diver propulsion vehicle. You ever see those things with the big um, like the prop on it and you hold on it, it pulls you through the water. So I just did training on that, but I did it with 4 full-size tanks at 150 feet, doing gas switches and all kinds of cool stuff. You know why? Because I don't want to get old. I want to do cool stuff. Those things keep your mind sharp. They keep your body sharp.
yeah. Yeah, he brings it up. The old man brings it up, talking about training. He's like, you got to get after it 3 to 5 times a week. Not because you want six pack abs. It's
Mm.
because a man, according to the old man, which we don't know if it's a man or not, because a man who can control his body usually controls the rest of his life too. And he
Yeah.
said this. Oh my God, Rich, this is a kick in the nuts. It says your body reflects your private standards. So, bro, and again, from a pastoral standpoint, you and I are talking to the brethren and the sisters. And if that's true, your body reflects your private standards. Some people are in a heap of trouble, bro.
Well, I read a quote the other day that I think is great and goes with this. It said, life is not a mystery. Your life is a result of your last 1,000 decisions. Your weight and your health is the result of your last 1,000 meals. And it went down on the last 1,000 things, in all the different areas of your life. And it says, if you want your life to change, then get a plan for the next 1,000 meals, the next 1,000 days, the next 1,000 whatever. And it says, and obviously what you get in that next season will be the result of that. We know that's sowing and reaping.
Yeah, this is the obesity, the out of shape, I was watching this guy the other day that supposedly is a big dog in the manosphere, Rich. I don't know if you know about the manosphere, but it's starting to burgeon where a lot of, you know, a lot of guys have opinions on what masculinity is all about. And some big dude, I think his name's Heavy Duty Country, or that's his channel, just a pipe hitting, nut cutting, special forces type dude. He calls him out. He's like, "You got skinny arms and a punch gut. You know, how are you going to fill me and astound me with thy wisdom?" He said, "Well, I can look at you. You chain smoke cigarettes. You've got tits. You have skinny arms. No, I've got skinny arms, but they're defined. They're muscly. And you got a punch gut, and you are the zeitgeist in the manosphere. No, you're not. You're not. You're not. You.
Yeah,
Or you.
there's a flip side to that too. I saw this guy. Well, you've probably seen him online. I don't remember his name or care because he wasn't important to me. But he says, "Yeah, if you don't have a six pack, you can't work for me." And he calls people up that work for him. And he's like, "Show them," and they pull up their shirts or whatever. And this other guy was saying, "Yeah, I would never hire you to do this and that unless you're in shape." And I commented on his page too, and I said, "Cool. If I need somebody to work out with or advise me in the gym, you're my bro. If I need a mathematician, you're not the guy. And if I need to kick ass and get some things done, I'll do it myself or talk to my friends. I'm definitely not calling the abs guy." So I think there's a balance in that too. We're like, "Oh man, if you're in shape, then that's the answer." Because I saw a guy, actually was at the beach today, and I saw a guy, and I'm not exaggerating. He had to be 6'5", at least 6'5". And I would guess that he weighed 285 pounds or better. He was clearly a professional bodybuilder, one of the biggest men that I've ever seen in person in that kind of shape. I mean, he was just jacked, just roided, massive legs. I mean, this dude was jacked. He was enormous. And he was there with his wife and two kids. I'm assuming that's who they were. But he came out and I was like, "God, look at that guy. He's massive. And then, yeah, my opinion of him just got less and less the longer that he stayed. Because he went and took his shorts off and he had those little bikini underwear on, like if he was going to go out on stage in his bodybuilding thing. And bro, he had massive legs. Literally I'm not kidding, his legs were as wide as my chest. Massive, impressive, right? He's wearing these little gay underwear things. And then he has this little do-rag thing tied on his head because he's obviously bald and he has like longer hair in the back. So he's got this little do-rag tied on his head. And then he puts big headphones on. Remember, he's with his wife and his kids. And wraparound sunglasses and sits down on the chair on the beach. And no one was looking at him. Here's my opinion on that. That guy's whole identity is the gym. His chance to shine was the beach. Put on a pair of normal shorts, go there and take off your shirt and be the super jack guy with his wife and kids at the beach. Don't go there and dress like you're on the stage for a competition for the gym. Now you just look like a dumbass who's so into yourself wearing a do-rag at the beach. Like, you're dumb. So people in their whole identity with their health thing, I can't even get with that. I'm not, you see that guy, what's that guy who spends all of his money trying to be healthy because he wants to live forever? Millions of dollars on supplements. Have you seen him?
Is it that Ken Barbie No, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's dying of some
Right.
rare disease. His stomach is eating itself. And so I read a thing, a guy said, well, he lives afraid to die. And everything that he does is because he's afraid to die. And he says, I don't want to live like that. I live to enjoy my life. This guy also is in very good shape. The guy talking, he's a workout guy and everything. He said, but I work out to live. I don't live to work out. That's not his identity. This is something that I do so that I can have a great life. So people have to be careful what you make your identity. And men do that with their job all the time. It's like, okay, my job is my identity. This is who I am, you know. And so, but people do that with their health too. And they make, well, they don't make the gym their idol. They make themselves their idol.
Yeah, I like what the old man says here. He says one day you're going to look in the mirror, and again, he's this is aimed at the youngins, those in their early 20 somethings. Says one day you're going to look in the mirror, make sure the older man looking back is someone your younger self would admire. Great point.
Yeah.
Don't ever let yourself go, son. Save this, read it again every birthday. So make sure that the dude you are making, your younger self, can look ahead and admire it. And it's all about vision, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of 60-year-old Christian man do you want to be? Do you want to be the dilapidated, broken, stupid, drooling, drinking, boost and talking about bowel movements and having no vision, no passion, nothing that flicks your switch? Or you want to be intentional? You want to be kingdom focused, adding to Christ's fold and being sharp, solid, and smart as a 60-year-old cat. And if you want
Yep.
to do that, you want to have that kind of life, then you got to plan for it, because that crap just doesn't fall out of the sky, you know.
Yeah. And that's on this quote he says here. He says, the belly grows, the discipline dies, the standards drop. Age didn't do that. Comfort did. And just tonight after dinner, I was sitting on the couch watching a little TV, and he said, come on, let's go for a walk. I was like, nah. She goes, no, come on, you want to walk. And I thought, you know what? Once I get up and put my shoes on, I'm going to feel a lot better walking. So we got out and we went for a walk. And after about 5 minutes, it was the best thing ever. We had the greatest time. We walked for 40 minutes, and it was like nothing. We had a fantastic time. It was great. You know, those are the type of things. It doesn't take much to get up and walk. Here's a tip that I learned during my metabolic reset that'll help everybody. Look, after you eat, walk for a minimum of 10 minutes and do it within an hour of eating. Don't wait too long. Walk for 10 minutes. Let me tell you what walking for 10 minutes does. Your legs, when you walk, they pump the glucose into your muscles. That's where you want them. That's where you want the glucose. You don't want it in your blood. That makes you fat. You want it in your muscles. That makes you buff. If you are working out in the gym and you want to get bigger, walk for 10 minutes after you eat. You might be taking creatine. You're like, yeah, but guess what? Creatine needs glucose to be loaded into the muscles. When you eat, the glucose is in the blood. When you walk, it pumps the glucose into the muscles. So if you want to get more buff and you're going to the gym, walk for 10 minutes after you eat. If you're fat and you eat, get up after that and walk for 10 minutes. It's the number one return on your energy and on your effort that you can do on any health thing, is to walk for 10 minutes. And it'll lower your cholesterol. It'll lower your triglycerides. It is the healthiest thing that you can do, the easiest thing you can do. It's free. Get up and walk 10 minutes. And I like to walk 20 or 30, depending, but walk at least 10 minutes. It'll change your life. Literally, that'll change your life. Look it up too. Here's my thought on things like that. When you hear something like what I just said, research it. But here's the great thing. It's free. Nobody's selling you anything. There's zero downside to walking. Nothing. And if you walk for 10 minutes after you eat the rest of your life, and let's say that I'm wrong and it doesn't work, there's no downside. It costs you nothing. A little bit of time. Look it up, find it out. Those are one of the things that just make sense. But if you look up what I'm saying and you see the science behind it, you will not believe how good you will start to feel just walking for a little bit after you eat. And it has to be after you eat.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a bunch of walkers in our neighborhood. I'm not the kind of guy that walks around a neighborhood. I'll ride my bike around it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a walker Texas Ranger. But one of the things that I notice with these walkers, especially the young one, is that they're on their damn phone all the time, and so they're
Yeah.
walking head down. It's like you're going to get kidnapped. Okay, you're going to get duct taped and thrown into Jesus's Trans Am trunk if you don't pay attention to what's going on. But one of the things that the old man says here is, walk every day. Again, not disagreeing with what you said because it's science. It's
Yeah.
true. And he's like, don't do it for calories, but do it for clarity. He said some of life's biggest problems become smaller after 30 minutes alone with your thoughts. Movement clears what comfort clouds. And
Mm.
that's huge, man. That's a great point. I had this guy the other day, Rich, and he found out that I'm a cyclist and stuff. And he goes, hey, he said, I'd like to ride with you. And it's like, no, that's not happening. And he's like, why? It's like, I want to be alone. I don't want to be talking. I don't want to be competing. I want when I get on that bike, yeah, I'm exercising, but bro, that's a good chunk of time that
Right.
there's no noise, there's no frickin' headphones, there's no text alerts, there's nothing. It's just me and Jesus, you know, going up and down the Texas Hill Country, and it works for me. An intrusion
Yeah, a
of
lot of
another
guys I know
person
that
into
started
that
walking
realm
were
is what,
saying that they started praying.
yeah, do what?
A lot of the guys that started walking in our church, they said they automatically started praying. They didn't even have to try. They were just walking and they started praying.
Yeah, again, it's yeah, all the physical things are great, but again, when you like, if and this is a huge if, I just learned the other day that young people are spending 9 hours a day on the phone. 9 hours, Rich, unbelievable. 3,200 hours per year staring at their handheld devices, and it's like, how come I don't see miracles? How come angels don't talk to me? You're on your damn phone all the time. That's why. Uh, you're trapped. You are drawn into this thing that's making you an absolute dopamine moron. But anyway, when you walk, when you ride, just leave that crap back, man. And yeah, do it for your health, but let Jesus dial you in and start praying and maybe, again, touch grass, enjoy the beauty, look, a cardinal, that kind of stuff. Because the old man wants the soul built in the young man. And you can't do that, again, doing video games, hanging out with your bros. It's like you got to have solitude, and you might as well cram in something that's going to benefit your body and do both at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, something I like to do too once in a while, pretty regularly, is I have a bunch of verses on healing and health in my notes part of my phone. And I also have the Confessions of the Blood of Jesus from Derek Prince. And so I'll copy that and I put it in Chat GPT, and then I click on it for it to read it back to me. And I walk and listen to it, quoting verses
Yeah.
on health. And then it goes through the Confessions of the Blood. And when it's done, I just do it again. And I just walk around and I just let that be my meditation. You know what I mean? I want to be healthy. I want to be strong. So I speak the word and listen to the word and put it in chat. Let chat say it to me. I get the word in me as much as I can.
So finally, the old man says, that's great, great advice, Rich. And I do it often. I don't do it every day, but man, the proclamations, the confessions, talking back to the devil. Mary Margaret and I do it when we're driving in the car instead of listening, to talk radio. It's like, man, let's just talk back to the devil. Let's declare the word of God. And again, using those times of solitude. Not that um, Mary Margaret being with me is solitude, but us purposefully, instead of just listening, is like zombies to whatever's on talk radio or podcast or whatever, is that we take that time and we use it for kingdom purposes. But lastly, let's drill down on this one, Rich. This is so good. Stay lean. Again, old man to young man. Dress well. Hello. I think we need more Barron Trump like young people who dress appropriately
Yeah.
than all of this pants on the ground, stupid. You got to be kidding me. You look like a moron, dumb haircuts, smell good, stand tall, looking after yourself isn't vanity. It's self respect made visible. And then this one, ooh, people see your standards before they hear your words.
So good.
Yeah. Well, don't judge me. You can't judge me. God looks on my heart. Yeah, I agree. But we're not dealing with God here on this planet. We're trying to reach people and lead them to Christ. So
Mm.
they are going to judge your standards before you open your mouth. And if you're a floor flushing, you know, 400-pound Jabba the Hutt, I don't really, yeah, God might use you, but I'm not really looking to take advice from you, sunshine. You can't even run your own life. And it's so funny that Hannah and Regis' jujitsu instructors have always told her, never told them, and they tell the whole class, never trust somebody who's obese and never trust anybody who smokes cigarettes. A little
The
random.
cigarette thing's a little random, but especially from
Anyway,
jiu-jitsu experts from Brazil who are famous for smoking weed and surfing all the time.
right.
Maybe not that guy,
Selective.
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That
It's
culture.
selective buying.
Yeah, on the thing too, it also says eat like you plan to be here a long time. And when I started building my protocol around eating, I eat 2 meals a day now. I eat it around between 12 and 1 p.m. And then I eat again about 6:30 or 7. And then depending on stuff that I have to do, I always can't stick to that. But that's what I try to do. And one of the things that really, really pissed me off when I built my protocol and put it into chat is it says, well, you have to stop grazing between meals. And I was so mad. And I hated that word because I realized it accurately described how I ate. And I thought, well, yeah, but it's almonds and cheese and it's this and that. But what it was is it was grazing constantly from either being bored or just having stuff there. And it made me disgusted with myself. That's why it made me so mad. And so I don't do that anymore. Like if I have dessert or a snack or something, it's intentional. It's not, I'm sitting here watching TV, I need to put a pile of food in front of me or something. And so if you want to live, we need to stop having processed food in your body. Start getting rid of seed oils. I actually, after 3 months on my protocol, I can't eat really processed bread, like processed flour. If I taste something and it has that, it makes me gag. So now I won't. I won't hardly eat a cookie because they taste disgusting. Cinnamon rolls, which I used to really like. Bread, I can eat high quality bread as long as I don't use really processed flour. But if I taste it, I don't want it. It's so crazy that your body says, we don't want all this processed garbage. It's pretty wild. But if your body has a choice, it'll choose the good food if you give it to it.
Yeah, we stopped eating all that crap a long time ago. I had somebody try to foist a cookie on me the other day, and I took a bite, and it was the most repulsive tasting. I mean, I spit it immediately in the trash can. It's like, well, it's a cookie. Everybody likes a cookie. Like, yeah, I want a cookie. And so I took a bite of it, and I was like, oh my God, this is garbage. It's pure garbage. Jesus didn't make this cookie, man. The devil did. So the
I'll
old
tell you
man
what I
says,
found
never
that is
stop
glorious. You
upgrading.
want to hear something glorious?
Hit me.
French fries are bad for you, not because of the potatoes, but because of the seed oil.
Right.
Well, there's a place here that'll deliver them right to my villa, Doug, and they fry those French fries in tallow, beef tallow.
Ah, word.
And
I'm very aware of those things.
that definitely comes from the Lord.
Yes, it does. It's divine. Never stop upgrading, young people. More wisdom,
Yep.
more strength, more money, more Jesus, better habits, calmer mind. A man should become harder to replace with every passing year. Wow. Come on. Never
That's so
become,
good.
yeah, never become a faded version of your younger self. Boom, he rang the bell, Rich. He rang the bell. And I don't even know if this is an actual dude who is the old man, but great stuff, man. You know, I think the young people need to hear stuff like this that doesn't fluff their pillow. It's just no, no bullshit advice from somebody who's been there and done that. It's got, closet full of t-shirts, trying to help them, circumnavigate this weird, jacked up culture that they're currently in. And that includes Christians too, man, in particular Christians. So what's the William Wildman viewer need to do, my brother?
Well, one thing they need to do is, the goal I heard is not to die as old as possible. It's to die young as late as possible. And that's a mindset and a mentality, right? I think we have to in our life have plans and dreams. And like you said at the beginning, vision. You have vision for your life, not just, like you said, not just how you want to look, but who you want to be. We got to have a vision for our life and things that you want to do. I have trips planned, diving trips. I have a trip planned later this year. I have a trip planned in 2027. I have a trip planned, Doug, in 2028. And the trip that I have planned in 2028, I'm already thinking now, 2 years back, I need to be in excellent health to go on this because this is a super demanding, very dangerous, very remote. But I'm going to be ready for it. And see, too many people, they just go to work and come home and watch TV and put the kids in bed and they don't have a plan. You need to have a plan and a vision and a dream. And everything doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but you got to have a plan. You got to have a vision of something that you're going to do that's going to drive you forward, right? And we don't want to just get old and I don't want to get old and just kind of drift off into irrelevance, right? We want to burn up. We don't want to burn out.
Yeah, Paul said, I want to spend and be spent for Christ,
Yeah.
Instead of, well, I'm just going to, people ask me, when are you going to retire? It's like, I don't even, that's not in my vocabulary. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I'm
tell him, Doug, say, I'm Pentecostal, son. I'm not going to retire. I'm going to refire. That's what I do.
Uh-huh. Yeah. All the greatest preachers that I know, dude, they preached until they dropped dead. They were writing books until they dropped dead. They were perfecting the middle finger to everything that's evil and stupid and demonic until they dropped dead. Literally, boom. And then that's when they stopped, I was talking to a guy the other day that, and listen, I know everybody is not hardwired like me, thank God, but he stopped preaching. It's like, how can you not weigh in? How can, like Jeremiah said, the word of God's like fire in my bones. I can't keep it down. I can't shut this thing off. There is so much can't scrape it off your feet, Torah out there. How can somebody who has a deep knowledge of the Lord and the word of God go mute at, the juncture in history that we're at right now? Because it is a target-rich environment for anybody who, he's a preacher of the gospel. And there's so many lost folks
That's what I'm talking
about. So I don't get it, but then I'm not God, so to each his own. But I know for me, I want to go out hard. I don't plan on shutting up. An angel, Gabriel, might smite me where I can't use my tongue, but he's going to have to do it because other than that, it's going to be in full throttle demon thrashing mode until I spring off Rich this mortal coil. All right, man. I think we milked it. The
We
old
did it.
man is wise. That's what we do, Big.
Go to warriorsandwildmen.com. Subscribe. It's free. We'll hit you up with a couple emails a week, let you know what's happening, keep you up to date. And if you're getting something good from the podcast, hit the war chest. Your gift is tax deductible, and we'll send you that information when you send your gift. For those that are doing it, man, we appreciate you guys. You guys are making it happen, man. Pray that God multiplies those gifts back to you 100 times so you can be more generous in every area of your life. Warriors and Wild Men.